I am Cody Metter. I'm the Executive Director of the Texas Legislative Progressive Caucus. I like Progress Texas because they give a voice to progressive perspectives, show the truth that we need to be highlighting in the media, and make sure that media is fair and honest.
It's Monday, June 30th, 2025, and this is the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch. Rapid response on the breaking news stories Texas progressives need to know. I'm Chris Mosier. Yet another insane weekend in politics as Donald Trump and those for whom he is responsible continue their relentless assault on American institutions and the American working class. Over here, huge wins at the Trump-stacked U.S. Supreme Court. As the New York Times puts it, the 6 conservative justices, 3 of them Trump appointees, have in a series of emergency rulings largely eliminated the main tools that Trump's opponents have been using to thwart his aggressive agenda, allowing the president to pursue his policies indefinitely and perhaps irreversibly, largely in decisions based on rushed and cursory briefs without oral arguments and delivered in orders containing scant or no reasoning. And over here, motion in the Senate on Trump's big bullshit bill, which the dear leader has ordered his minions in the Senate to pass before the 4th of July, which is this Friday. Slow walked over the weekend by Senate Democrats who managed to burn 16 hours reading the whole damn thing out loud. $3.8 trillion in tax cuts, most benefiting the wealthiest Americans, $350 billion for deportations, border wall construction, and the building of more prison space in which to stow away the men, women, and children that the Trump regime has deemed undesirable. All of this paid for by massive cuts to just about everything that Democrats have accomplished in Washington dating back to Barack Obama. Cuts to Medicaid, kicking about 11 million Americans off of their benefits. Cuts to food stamp assistance, kicking off about 3 million. 3 million people who will now rely on, local food assistance to survive? Cuts to green energy and technology, including electric vehicles. Texas transplant and former Trump best buddy Elon Musk is pissed there, and for once we kind of agree that there's hope that this bill, should it pass, which it hasn't yet, could end up by Musk's, quote, political suicide for the Republican Party, unquote, but that's not coming without hurting a lot of American families first. They're moving fast to do a lot of damage here, and progressive Americans need to be paying attention. Finally, we get to Texas, where the battle for the very future of our country is heating up. That Senate fight has already cost one Republican senator, Tom Tillis of North Carolina, his job for the unforgivable sin of opposing Trump. Tillis says he'll not run again. And our senior Senator John Cornyn definitely sees the writing on the wall. He's sucking up to Trump like never before, and that appears to be the only way he sees to get ahead as a Republican in that place. Owen Dahlkamp at the Texas Tribune says Cornyn appears to have gotten over his prior tendency to maintain some distance from Trump. These days, he's been issuing public declarations of support, holding hearings, and embracing the president's favorite issues, even posting a photo of himself reading Trump's Art of the Deal book. Don't hurt yourself licking those boots, Senator. Not that it's going to work. Cornyn is far, far behind Attorney General and longtime close Trump lackey Ken Paxton here in Texas. Paxton licks those Trump boots with the best of them and has for years. Word is that Cornyn is working Trump to get him to ask Paxton to stand down, ostensibly to avoid what could be a nasty and expensive Republican primary in Texas. But really for Cornyn, it's to save his own skin. If Paxton runs for Senate, Cornyn is cooked. And that's clearly being seen as a major opportunity for Texas Democrats, even by established Republicans, including former Travis County GOP Chair Matt Mikowiak, who's now working for Cornyn as a senior advisor. He tells the Washington Post that every tea leaf he's reading shows Paxton losing a general election or landing within the margin of error. David Martin Davies at Texas Public Radio asks the question, who will Texas Democrats pick to be their nominee to run for U.S. Senate? 3 of the early hopefuls appeared together at a rally at San Antonio's Stable Hall on Friday night. Beto O'Rourke's Powered by People organized it and invited San Antonio Congressman Joaquin Castro to speak, which he did, as well as Round Rock State Rep James Tallarico, which he did as well. They also invited former Congressman Colin Allred, who, imagine that, had other places to be, in spite of being the one of those 4 with the most apparent likelihood to actually declare for the race regardless. Alejandro Serrano at the Texas Tribune covered that same event in San Antonio. He says Austin State Rep and declared candidate for Lieutenant Governor Vicki Goodwin was there, as was outgoing San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg, who's likely to find something to run for, we'd think, both of whom we've showcased lately here at Progress Texas. Democrats have a nicely stacked bench of candidates in Texas for 2026, and we're excited to see what they can do as a coordinated team. No shortage of statewide opportunities. Gromer Jeffers Jr. at the Dallas Morning News writes on a few, including the opening at Attorney General should Paxton stick to his plans. Already some drama on the Republican side in the Texas Comptroller's race, with that post being vacated this week by Glenn Hagar, who's off to become the chancellor at Texas A&M. Early on, an endorsement clash between Governor Greg Abbott and Senator Ted Cruz in this one, as the Cruz-backed recent gubernatorial loser Don Huffines of Dallas is in, as is North Richland Hills State Senator Kelly Hancock, who takes the job of chief clerk at the Comptroller's office and has been endorsed in his run for the top job there by Governor Abbott. Got to note one more Republican story here. The ever-so-toothy ultra-MAGA Christian nationalist state rep Nate Schatzline of Fort Worth, just days after announcing a run for Hancock's seat in the Texas Senate, has backed off of that run after conservative activist Lee Wamsgans declared for that same seat. Interesting here that Wamsgans is an executive at Patriot Mobile, the MAGA mobile phone company, who just saw several of the municipal candidates they were supporting around North Texas get destroyed in local elections last month. Patriot Mobile has become a toxic brand, one that has unified progressive and Democratic opposition in the DFW area. It's hard to say if Schatzline backing down so quickly is simply out of his own cowardice or due to Wamsgans' actual strength as a candidate. Texas Senate District 9 is considered safely Republican, but with the tide turning, it sure would be great to see a quality challenger jump in for the general. Leaving the election picture behind here, the assault on the bodily autonomy of Texas women continues. Jessica Sharon-Yu and Hayden Betts at the Texas Tribune write that a North Texas man charged with capital murder for allegedly giving his girlfriend abortion-inducing drugs causing a miscarriage marks Texas's first abortion-related murder case, and a test of a new tactic of using severe charges to restrict abortion pills and pushing the legal idea of defining embryos as people, which, as we've seen, could impact the legality of fertility treatments like IVF. Although overturning Roe v. Wade removed the precedent that fetuses lack personhood, it didn't establish fetal rights. But this case may push towards that legal recognition. Joanna Grossman, a law professor at SMU's Dedman School of Law, sees this as sort of a test case by the anti-abortion movement. The significance not necessarily based on whether it can be successfully prosecuted. Rather, the way in which prosecutors have issued these charges is significant on its own. Grossman says, quote, "The purpose of this has nothing to do with caring whether this woman was victimized. It's about trying to establish fetal personhood in a more direct way than they've been able to," unquote. While abortion rights attorney Blake Rocap says, quote, "It is shocking to people that the law can be used in this way, that this is the extent and result of the more than 20-year-old fetal personhood laws," unquote. Our mission at Progress Texas is to counter the conservative disinformation machine, which is funded by oil and tech billionaires and religious right-wing activist groups, all while fact-based independent media outlets increasingly face threats to their funding. While access to those outlets is frequently free, as it is here at Progress Texas, it takes listener support to keep fact-based independent media going. If you've come to appreciate what we do, now more than ever, we could use your support as a monthly contributor, and no amount is too small. Go to progresstexas.org/donate. Thanks to Joseph Gorman, Dolores Garcia, and Janet Gilmore, all three of whom have joined the team lately. We appreciate all of you very much. While you're at our website, make sure and hit our web store to grab the merch to match your progressive values. You'll see Y'all Means All, Revolution, and our most popular Humans Against Ted Cruz t-shirts there, all union printed right here in Texas, all at progresstexas.org. That's the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch for this Monday, June 30th, 2025. Links to all these original stories can be found in our show notes. Progress Texas is a nonprofit rapid response media organization promoting progressive messages and actions. While campaigns come and go, we're the permanent home for progressive media and action in the Lone Star State. I'm Chris Mosier. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day and a great week. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.